You got Ben Eubank. It's whetting everyone's appetite. How do you see it?
It's a tough one, this one. I mean, two phenomenal athletes at the top of their game, so none of them deserve to lose. And jumping up a weight is hard, but jumping up two is even harder. So Chris has got the advantage if it goes past 6. Ben's got to get this done early.
Conor Benn, the arena seemed to crackle with anticipation. The crowd waited for Venom, for a direct threat toward Chris Eubank Jr. after their brutal first clash, but instead, Benn delivered a cold salute. "Chris, I salute you, mate," he said, a gesture so unexpected and unsettling that it instantly raised the tension. He acknowledged Eubank's victory and honored the epic spectacle of their first encounter. It takes two to tango. This wasn't simple sportsmanship, it was a strategic statement, a fighter carefully reframing history, not as a loss, but as the opening act of a trilogy. This was the calm before the storm, then the mask slipped. Respect became nothing more than the setup for a dangerous promise. His tone hardened, shifting from gracious to deadly as he leaned into the microphone. "I'm going to iron you out again." The words hit like a knockout punch, especially aimed at a man with a reputation for an iron chin, and when he muttered off camera, "I forgot this is live," it wasn't a mistake, it was the perfect reveal. Proof that this wasn't manufactured hype, but a raw glimpse of true confidence. Now the message was no longer about the past, but a blood oath for the future. That salute wasn't respect, it was a warning. The rematch is now deeply personal.
Eubank, a message you haven't come to each other yet?
I'm not doing this. Chris, I salute you, mate, and you know, well done for winning the first fight. It takes two to tango. We both delivered. We both done what we needed to do, and I'm gonna iron you out second time round. I've got this is live.
Yeah, what a beautiful message, Gary, I think is what you said.
In one corner stands Chris Eubank Jr., a technically polished, physically imposing middleweight armed with a piston-like jab, an endless gas tank, and a granite chin. A fighter who blends slick defense with explosive combinations, carrying both the swagger and the ring IQ forged under the weight of a legendary name. Across the ring waits Conor Benn, a force of explosive power and raw aggression, dangerous with fight-ending shots in either hand, and a ferocious body attack that has broken down seasoned rivals. Though less refined, Benn's athleticism, speed, and relentless pressure make him a constant danger, the embodiment of the violent passion of his heritage. This rematch is far more than a simple clash of styles. It is refined skill versus raw power, the calculated legacy of Eubank against the fiery ambition of Benn, a duel not just of technique, but of names, bloodlines, and pride.
Ben does have the chance to become a legitimate world champion and have a different phase to his career, to what he's had. Chris, it's about cash. That's what it's about. At this time, not that he's in need for cash, but everyone wants more. So if you can get two big money fights back to back against someone you know you're more than capable of beating, you've proven you can beat them, why not take it again? For Conor, it's about the long road, about the mileage, about how you're gonna feel in a year's time, 2 years' time. Where do you want to go in your career? What do you see as the final picture? Loaded, or made the decisions to take me on the world champion route and still end up loaded?
Eddie Hearn pulled back the curtain on the massive physical and mental toll of that first epic encounter, admitting there were real doubts about whether a rematch would ever take place. The first fight pushed both men to the absolute limit. Hearn revealed, stressing the gravity of the night by confirming that both fighters were hospitalized, with Eubank Jr. kept in for several days. Hearn even set rivalry aside to praise Eubank Jr. "Despite our differences, I have to respect Jr. He went to some dark places that night." For Hearn, the true story is that both warriors, knowing the brutal ordeal that awaits, have still chosen to run it back, setting the stage for an even more punishing battle. He also addressed the delay. The original September 20th date was scrapped because Eubank wasn't physically ready to return. That made the new date, November 15th at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, far more than just another fight. It is a testament to recovery, resilience, and sheer willpower.
There were times when, I don't know, not that I think Eubank would retire, but the first fight was incredibly physically taxing on both men. You know, both men ended up eventually that night in hospital, and Eubank was there for several days. And there was definitely a feeling of, are they going to want to run it back? I mean, the money's obviously huge, but do you want to go to those places again? And, you know, I have to give, despite our differences, I have to give Junior respect, because he went to some deep places that night. Both of them did. And they're choosing to run it back and go to the same places where they will definitely be going. in this fight. So, you know, the first fight date, which was September 20th, didn't get off the ground because, you know, Eubank physically said he wasn't ready for that fight. So we're here now, November 15th, back at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Teddy Atlas broke down the tactical keys to the rematch with his trademark mix of strategic insight and streetwise metaphors. For Eubank Jr., Atlas insisted the formula is simple: control the outside, make Conor Benn chase him, then set traps, mug him when he walks into a bad neighborhood. Eubank's weapons are clear, sharp uppercuts and straight rights, timed perfectly as Benn barrels forward into dangerous range. On the other side, Benn's entire blueprint is built on one thing: closing the distance. His success depends on slipping past Eubank's jab without being tied up or smothered. That's why Atlas stressed a crucial, often overlooked factor: the referee. Benn needs an official who will let the inside fight breathe, giving him space to work with his aggression. Eubank, by contrast, benefits from a referee who breaks clinches quickly, keeping the fight at long range where his...
For Eubank, he's got to be able to control the outside and make Benn try to get to him. And again, one of my favorite cliches: mug him when he goes through a bad neighborhood. Make him go through a bad neighborhood to get to him and catch him. Catch him with an uppercut, catch him with a straight right hand, but catch him and do damage. Here's how I think it's going to play out. I don't know how pretty it's going to be. I don't know how pretty it's going to be. Because Benn will look to get close. He's going to have to be really disciplined with his fight plan, his training, where when he gets close, he doesn't get tied up. The referee's going to be important. That it's got to be a referee for Benn. It's got to be, and for Hearn, it's got to be a referee that allows you to fight inside. If he's breaking you every bit, Eubank's going to have the edge. See, I'm going to go deep into this. I'm going to give you everything to put your couple of shekels. You know, we call them shekels, or over there, shekels, or actually put a few quid, right? My brothers and sisters, you know, bet responsibly, not recklessly, but a couple quid. Where are you going to put a couple quid? Well, you're going to, again, you better have the right referee if you want Benn that's going to allow him to fight on the inside. If you have Eubank, you want a referee that's going to break him every time they get in close, because Eubank wants to have distance and range to do his damage. Benn must be prepared to move his feet back, give himself room, not get smothered. And again, it takes two to tango to tie someone up.
Former British world champion Carl Froch admitted he's genuinely excited for the rematch, confessing he didn't expect the first fight to be that good. What surprised him most was how the technical boxing went out the window, replaced instead by raw aggression. Conor Benn charging forward looking for a knockout that could take someone's head off, while Chris Eubank Jr. stood his ground and answered fire with fire. What really impressed Froch, though, was Eubank's fitness and grit, especially in the later rounds. To do that under the lights in front of 65,000 fans at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, you've got to respect that, Froch said. The pressure was immense, and he rose to the occasion. Still, Froch feels the first fight may have already settled the question of who's better, but the rematch, he admitted, is simply too big to ignore. The sheer excitement of the first clash and the demand from
much because the first one was so exciting. I didn't think it'd be that good. I mentioned about the levels of it. I mean, the boxing skill and the quality of actually the art of pugilism kind of went out the window because of the way these two guys went at the fight. It was just Conor Benn trying to catch him with a big shot and trying to go in there and decapitate him, to use his words. And Chris Eubank Jr. fought fire with fire, and towards the end of the fight especially, Eubank Jr. showed me that he's got actually quite a bit of fitness and grit and determination, which I knew he had anyway from sparring many rounds of him. But to do that under the lights and in front of 65,000 at the Tottenham Hotspurs, not quite 80, at that stadium, I mean, you've got to give him respect, because the pressure was on and he rose to the occasion and he performed. He got the win. And for me, the fight's it's put to bed now, but it was so exciting. The demand is we want to see it again. The fans are calling for it. Still no world title fights on the line. Still doesn't do a great deal for Conor Benn's career, or Eubank's career, really. I mean, Eubank's secured the name. He's put the Chris Eubank name, the Eubank.
Sean Porter believes the core dynamics of the first fight will remain unchanged in the rematch, calling it an unsolvable puzzle for Conor Benn. Porter pointed to Benn's significant weight cut, arguing that while Benn has the size, he lacks the experience and craft to consistently deal with a naturally taller, bigger man like Chris Eubank Jr. Porter recalled how, in their first meeting, Benn came out firing with explosive punches, but once those shots missed and drained his energy, he was left without a clear strategy. Porter doubts that flaw can be fixed in the span of a single training camp. The only X factor, he admitted, is the puncher's chance. If Benn lands the kind of shot he repeatedly missed in the first fight, everything could change, especially since Porter believes Eubank's chin is not unbreakable. But outside of that one moment of danger, Porter expects Eubank Jr. to take control and navigate the rematch exactly as he did before.
Showed to me what we won't see in this fight, because we have the same thing. We have a Conor Benn who cuts from 68, 70 pounds to get to 147 pounds, cuts from 175 to get to 154. You're not losing that weight, so you're carrying that weight, but you're carrying inexperience along with it. And one of the biggest inexperiences that he has is fighting a guy who's legitimately taller, bigger. And once he got past all of the big explosive punches that he missed, which of course helped slow him down anyway, he didn't know how to get at Conor Benn. And I think that's something that, whether it's 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, I don't know if they're going to be able to figure out that equation. So I don't think it changes. The thing that may change is he may catch Chris Eubank with that big punch that he missed so many times in the first fight. If he does that, that changes the complexion of the fight, because I don't think that Chris Eubank has the best chin. And so I think that that's what could possibly change outside of catching that big punch. I think Chris Eubank handles it the way he did last time.
When it comes to a grudge match like Eubank Jr. versus Ben Tutt, you can imagine Mike Tyson stripping away the hype and going straight to the primal truth of fighting. He'd see Conor Benn's ferocious, almost desperate power as the ultimate equalizer, one clean punch that can send every strategy straight to hell. At the same time, Iron Mike would respect Chris Eubank Jr., his steady, systematic pressure, the ability to chip away at an opponent round by round until they break. For Tyson, the fight hinges on those first explosive exchanges. If Ben doesn't land his bomb early and overwhelm Eubank, then the fight slowly shifts into Eubank's world of methodical punishment. Tyson's philosophy remains brutally simple. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, and this rematch may be the perfect embodiment of that timeless truth. Ultimately, Eubank versus Ben Tutt is bigger than records or belts. It's a visceral battle for legacy, bragging rights, and family honor. On one side, Eubank Jr. enters as the technically sharper, physically stronger favorite. On the other, Ben's raw power and relentless will make him a constant threat to end the night with just one shot. On November 15th, under the lights of a sold-out Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, more than victory will be decided. The outcome will write the next chapter in one of British boxing's defining rivalries, leaving one man triumphant and the other haunted by what might have been. Which part of this fight did you enjoy the most? In whose side are you on? Share your thoughts in the comments below.